but that would be in a longer lecture, that would be in another class, that type of thing. But this is where I'm going to leave it with you guys. I'm going to leave it at infestation. Okay? Infestation is the result of negative energy saturation. All these levels that I just talked to you about, if you take all of those levels and you do nothing, this is what it can become. Infestation. Okay? If the area has not been cleansed, blessed, prayed upon, whatever your spiritual belief is, if that has not happened and all of these things are in your home, which everybody, you know, it's probably in most people's houses, the levels that I've talked about, it can become an infestation. Okay? It is the breeding ground. It's the tilled soil for low vibrational energy to move in. I haven't even talked about a demon yet, you guys, because I mean that's questionable. Whether you believe it or not, if that's questionable, and that's something else that we can talk about at another time. But I'm just talking about low vibrational energy. Low vibrational energy, to me as a psychic, sounds different. Remember I was talking about what voices sound like? When it's a high vibration, which would be like angelic or a really high spiritual being from somewhere else, the voice sounds like a really high pitch in your ear. It sounds like a buzz, and then I'll hear the buzz, and then I'll know what they're trying to say to me. That's what high vibration sounds like. A ghost or a spirit sounds like a hum, noise, and I can hear it in my ear, I hear the buzz, and then their voice comes through. A low vibrational energy sounds like a broken piece of equipment. It's like a low rumble. Okay, low vibrational energy sounds that way. When I walk into a room and I hear that noise in my ear, it's almost like if you had a bee dying in your ear and it was just barely going out. That's kind of what it sounds like to a psychic. When that moves in my ear, I know, okay, put your shields up, because I'm going into an area that has low vibrational energy and I'm probably walking into infestation territory. Okay, now let me tell you what the signs are for infestation. Okay, this is the last level that we're going to talk about. Okay, and this is going to surprise you. The home is filled with chaos and fear. Okay, poltergeist activity, shadowy figures, everyone. Shadowy figures. Knocks on the doors. Now, a lot of people hear knocks on the doors. You know, in investigation, you go, can you knock for me? Can you do it back? And they do it back. Spirits do it back. Watch the knocks in threes. Do you want to check for an infestation? Do you want to check to a low vibrational energy to see if you're dealing with that? Ask them to knock in threes. They love the number 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you knock back? And you hear 1, 2, 3. I want you to immediately consider, not put it in that category, but I want you to consider the possibility that it's a low vibrational energy. They like to mock the Trinity. 3s, you guys, 3s. Okay, so that's something to check for. Scratching noises. They love to scratch. Hot and cold spots. Okay, we find hot and cold spots in almost all of our investigations. I'm not saying when you find a hot or cold spot, it's an infestation, you guys. I'm not saying that. But if a few of these things are together, then you know. These are the little signs, okay? This one. This is almost an indication of this. This is almost always an indication. If you hear the sounds of children or baby animals suffering, you hear a cry. I lived in a home like this where we heard, I heard children, and I have a child that scared the crap out of me because I thought it was my child, and it was not my child. The baby was sound asleep. But you hear a child going, ah, or help. You hear the cry. It sounds like your own, and it's not. When you go in there, there's nothing there. Baby animals, you'll hear an animal like moaning, that type of thing of an animal, and you know you don't have a pet. It's good to find out if they have a pet before you go over there and investigate, because then you'll know. But that one is a giveaway on that one there. The appliances and the plumbing is turning off and on without a reason. Okay. Now, you guys are paranormal investigators. It's your job to go in there and to figure out if there's a logical explanation for these things that I talked about. And that's why I say, just because you see all these little signs here, which is the majority of your cases, hot spot, cold spot, you know, weird lights going off and on, it doesn't mean that you have an infestation. What I want you to know is that go in there, it's your job to find the logical explanation as to why it's not an infestation. Check it out, okay? Check it out, why the electric is going out, why is the plumbing going out, that type of thing. Rule everything out, you guys. It's when there's no explanation and you still have all of these signs, hot spots, the cold spots, the scratching, the noises, all that stuff. When there's no explanation, that's when you worry. That's when you know you got something else. Okay? So I'm still scientific, okay? Still stay that way, guys. Don't get too carried away.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For the infestation to happen, all those other things prior, the man-made, residual, the spirit, all those have to happen in stages?
No, Jackie, any of the things that are part of that,
Okay.
not everybody has all of this in one to indicate that, but I call it negative energy saturation, so there's a ton of these elements.
Okay.
Okay.
So it can be just one of those items and then get to that infestation?
It can, depending on, especially like on the spirit attachment, especially that one, and the spiritual negative energy where some really bad stuff happened there, and it goes unnoticed and nobody fixes it, nobody does anything about it. That's when it can become a problem.
Jackie?
Yes?
Can you repeat the first two?
Okay, sure.
Before we got over there?
Okay, you mean the levels?
Yeah.
Oh, they're right here.
The first two signs of infestation.
Oh, infestation, okay.
Before we got over yours.
Okay, first signs of infestation. The house is filled with chaos and fear. Okay, poltergeist activity. We all want to see that, don't we? We all want to see it. Shadowy figures in the home. Knocks on threes when there's no one else present, just you. Okay, scratching noises. Hot and cold spots. Children and animals, the noises of children and animals in pain, calling out. Appliances and plumbing problems. And maybe the levitation of small objects. I've never seen it. In all my years of investigation, I'd love to see it. I've never seen it.
You mentioned too, when we talked about big pieces of furniture moving.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also the personality changes.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Jackie, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
That's actually the next level that I'm actually not going to talk about, but I'll just touch upon it.
Okay.
An infestation has to occur to grow into a possession.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then when we talk about possession turns into spirit attachment on an extreme level.
Okay.
That's what possession is. It's a spirit attachment on an extreme level where it's taken over the body. It's not sharing your body, it's using your body. Okay, so, but I didn't want to talk about that because it's really, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you get those levels, Jim?
Yes, I
Were you able
did.
to get all those in?
No, I got them, thanks.
Okay, and then remember that I said it's your job to logically explain why it's not infestation, because that's your job to make sure that there's a logical explanation to that. Okay. Let me get to where you guys are at on my little page here. Can you go to the wait, Jack? Hold on. Okay. Now that we've talked about all that dark stuff, I want to come back. I'm going to bring it back up a little bit. Okay. You notice that you guys are kind of sinking in your chairs when we talk about that stuff? It's kind of like we all started off all excited, and then we start talking about these levels, and it's kind of like, I need a break. I need some coffee. Okay. I'm going to bring it back to the scientific. Okay. It's common belief. Oh, here we go. It's behind me now, yay. All right, 10% is common belief that we know less than 10% of our reality. Okay? The foundation for this is our perception. That was the beginning of the lecture. We talked about perception. We are only humans, and what we perceive is based, what we perceive of our reality is based on our 5 internal senses. Okay? We're humans. All we have is sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. That is our basis. That is our human toolbox. When we go into an investigation, that's your human toolbox. And you'll have all of these things to help you see an orb, see where to point the camera, where you can feel the energy, where you may be able to smell the energy, and hearing the noises and all that. So you need all of these signs to identify all the things that I told you guys about, okay? So we have those, good for us, we have them, okay? But what if I told you that there were more senses? There were more than just 5. Wouldn't you want them? Wouldn't you want those additional senses? Go ahead, you click it. There you go. All right. A psychic has six additional senses, and not just psychic, you guys, because I have the same thing that you guys have. The only thing is that I know how to turn on my tools, okay? That's the only difference between me and you. I know how to turn on these tools because I know how to work my spiritual sensors, okay? There are ways that you can acquire these 6 psychic senses. I'm not saying that I can make you psychic. I'm not saying that. But what I can do is I can help you awaken the energy centers in your body that make all of these things work. Okay? And I'll give you a minute to write that down because it looks like everybody wants to write that down. Do you notice they look very familiar? Yeah, hearing, seeing, feeling. All of these clairs, I call them clairs, all of the clairs that we have here are, they look just like the internal senses, but those are the additional senses that I want you to consider opening and using in your investigation. Pick up these tools, and they don't cost you anything. They don't cost you anything. Can you believe it? You're born this way. All of these things are already inside of you the day you were born. They're all there. They're just asleep for some of us, and the others, we just have to leave it along and wake it up. How do you wake this up? Okay, you can wake this up through what we call chakra balancing. I don't know if you guys have heard of chakras. Okay, chakras are just energy centers in the body. Now, I want you to think of it this way. I say chakras are energy centers in the body. You have all these little centers that activate all of these things in your body. There's 7. Well, actually you have hundreds, but there's 7 main ones, and those run, on your forehead. I'm sorry, on your crown, on your forehead.